The story of 17-year-old Brian Cullen is not just a cautionary tale, it's a glaring, terrifying warning that should rattle every parent, doctor, and policymaker to the core. This once super fit cheerleader from Nevada now lives with a potentially life-shortening, irreversible lung condition, all because she used vapes marketed as safe, stylish, and stress-relieving. And this is just one story among thousands. The vaping crisis, especially among teens, is spiraling into a public health catastrophe, and it's unfolding right before our eyes with barely enough outrage or urgency to stop it. Brianne was only 14 when she started vaping, secretly using disposable e-cigarettes to cope with post-lockdown anxiety, a silent epidemic many teens have faced in the wake of the pandemic. Like countless others, she was drawn in by sleek packaging, bubblegum flavors, and social media influencers pushing nicotine as a trendy lifestyle choice. What she didn't know, and what far too few teenagers understand, is that these devices can deliver more than just addiction. They can destroy your lungs permanently. The diagnosis of bronchiolitis obliterans, more chillingly known as popcorn lung, is not just rare and serious, it's devastating. It's a condition where the smallest airways in the lungs become inflamed and scarred, permanently reducing a person's ability to breathe. There is no cure, no reversing it. In Brianne's case, she now faces a future of constant medical management, limited physical capacity, and potentially even the need for a lung transplant before she reaches full adulthood. And here's the terrifying part. This could happen to any child, anywhere right now. Popcorn lung was originally identified in workers at a popcorn factory who inhaled diacetyl, a chemical used in artificial butter flavoring. That same chemical, banned in the UK but still allowed in US vape products, has been found in some flavored e-liquids. Despite mounting concerns and anecdotal evidence linking vaping to popcorn lung, the tobacco and vape industries continue to hide behind lack of proof, the same deflection big tobacco used for decades while millions died from cigarettes. Make no mistake, this is the new tobacco. And this time, it's targeting children with laser precision. While governments drag their feet on full regulation and enforcement, children are ending up in emergency rooms. Some with collapsed lungs, some vomiting bile, some, like Brianne, gasping for air at cheerleading practice and being told they'll never breathe the same again. And still, vapes are sold openly in gas stations, dollar stores, and online shops, often with no age verification and no meaningful restrictions. Some kids are starting as young as 4 years old. Let that sink in. The industry has perfected its manipulation: bright colors, fruity flavors, TikTok influencers, and stealthy designs that look like pens or USB sticks. They've made it easy for kids to hide the habit, just like Brianne did for 3 years without her mother knowing. By the time her family found out, the damage was already done. Her mother, devastated and helpless, is now speaking out in desperation, trying to warn others before it's too late. But how many more warnings do we need? We've already seen the playbook. First, it was cigarettes, doctors endorsing them, ads glamorizing them, and decades of lies about their safety. Then came the lawsuits, the deaths, and the eventual regulations. But it was too late for millions. Now it's vapes. And just like before, the same greed, misinformation, and slow-motion government response are allowing a preventable disaster to grow into a generational health crisis. This is a profit-driven epidemic, not an accident. The vaping industry is raking in billions, knowingly addicting kids with flavored nicotine products, then walking away from the consequences. They rely on ignorance and addiction. And they're banking on the fact that most parents won't realize the danger until it's too late. Brianne's story should have been front-page news nationwide. Every school should be using it to educate students. Every store selling disposable vapes should be shut down. And every regulator who continues to delay real action should be held accountable. Because while they hesitate, kids are being poisoned, scarred, and in some cases, killed by these products. Even scarier is that the long-term effects of vaping are still largely unknown. Yes, popcorn lung is one horrific outcome. But what about the potential for cancer? Chronic respiratory illness? Neurological damage? Vaping is barely a decade old. We're just beginning to understand the full cost. By the time we have all the data, entire generations of children could be hooked, sick, and permanently damaged. This should be treated like the crisis it is, with bans, recalls, lawsuits, and public education campaigns on a scale we haven't seen since the anti-smoking movement. Waiting for more data while teenagers get sick is not science, it's negligence. And it's killing kids. The solution starts with stripping away the illusion. Vaping is not safe. It's not a harmless alternative. It's not just a teen trend. It's a medical and ethical emergency. It's a silent epidemic growing in school bathrooms, bedrooms, and sports fields, leaving a trail of damage that no inhaler or steroid can undo. We are looking at the early stages of another massive public health failure, one entirely preventable, one driven by profit over safety, one that will fill hospitals and shorten lives if it's allowed to continue. The only question is whether we choose to act now, or write stories like Brianne's again and again, each more tragic than the last, as we slowly wake up to a truth we already know. The vaping industry is not selling wellness. It's selling disease, addiction, and in the worst cases, death. And unless we forcefully and rapidly shut it down, it will continue to claim the lungs and futures of our children.